Welcome back everyone to Star Spangled Blues, the YouTube channel where you can get all your Chelsea information with a side of world football. As promised, I'm going to give you guys today my Arsenal reactions, and sadly, not the best game for the Chelsea boys, but we got to talk about it anyway. I just miss Arsene Wenger, man. I want to start by talking about what Arsenal got right. And Unai Emery's men came with a plan similar to Pochettino's Tottenham, with a 4-4-2 diamond formation that had their two forwards, Aubameyang and Lacazette, pressing our back line hard, followed by Ramsey shadowing Jorginho left and right. So, in those first 20 minutes, it was a very frustrating game for Chelsea. When David Luiz or Rudiger got the ball, they would try to pass it out to Aspi or Alonso, but then from there wasn't anywhere to go. Guendouzi and Torreira were also man-marking Conte and Kovacic. So every pass forward that the boys were playing was just going to a marked man under pressure where all they could do is pass it right backwards. We were stuck in this loop of sideways, one pass forward, backwards, sideways. And the worst part is we weren't even keeping the ball for that long. Every two passes or so, we lost possession, and that's where Arsenal looked to capitalize. While Arsenal's pressure was our nightmare for the first 20 minutes, it was actually their set pieces that was Chelsea's ultimate demise. Sarri likes to implement this zonal marking scheme where most of its defenders are covering a general area in the box, and the way Arsenal counteracted that was by taking short corners or short free kicks. At the very early parts of the game, 3 corners in a row, they all were a short pass leading to another pass, then a cross into the box. Now, it's a pretty simple thing to do, but here's how it looks different for Chelsea. The defenders are standing still, ball watching, while Arsenal's players are completely aware of what's going on and making their runs accordingly. Lacazette got freed up at the front post, had a quick turn into space, and beat Kepa front post to start the score early. And later in the half, Koscielny's goal came from a free kick as well. Again, these were things that we should have adapted for, and maybe, just maybe, if you see the short corners and the short free kicks early, you would do something about it. Not sure what Maurizio's men were doing or whether it was his call not to change anything, but at the end of the day, it helped Arsenal and it costed Chelsea from getting a result today. Now I want to talk a little bit about what Chelsea did wrong. And let's start by just talking about the system. The false 9, I really didn't want to go into this formation in this game. I really thought that playing a striker against Arsenal's strong physical center backs would have been the move to free up Hazard and let him do what he does best. But Sarri stuck to his guns and pulled what he thought worked well against City, which in that game was executed to perfection. But here, it's a different beast, and it just simply didn't work out. It hasn't been working out recently, and the players are getting frustrated. I don't know how many more times Hazard needs to say that he does not like playing the false 9 center forward position for Sarri to listen. And I want to add, when David Luiz, your center back, is your main source of creativity, something is wrong with this system. Yes, I get that Jorginho was marked out of this game, but this isn't a first. David Luiz has had to assist now in a couple of games for us just to get a result. Off the top of my head, I can think of Leicester with Conte scoring, and then Newcastle, it was David Luiz's pass that freed up Pedro to start the scoring. So I think it's time to let Hazard do what he does in the wings, get him some space, get him to not be so condensed in the middle. We are playing into our opponent's hands by putting our best player in this jail between 2 physical center backs and most likely a physical center defensive mid. By playing Hazard on the outside, we don't put as much pressure on players like Kovacic and Alonso to really be the creators. Hazard in the middle was marked out, and you had these players in isolation who were just kind of looking for a little bit of guidance, to be honest. Willian wasn't having his best game, and let's be real, at the end of the day, Hazard at left wing, Willian at left wing. So let's make it simple for everybody. Let's play our best player in his best position, and let's ignore the defensive phase for a little bit. Now I want to get into the post-match conference and Maurizio Sarri's words. And oh my God, did Maurizio Sarri lay one on his players. He went back to his native Italian because he essentially didn't want to be mistranslated or say something wrong because he wanted to get a point across. He just went out and questioned all of his players' mentality, saying they're impossible to motivate, and essentially they're just being whiny little babies. And can we really blame him? I think he has a good point. But is Maurizio Sarri essentially free of blame in this game? No. So first I want to talk about the players' mentalities, and let's be real. We are lacking vocal, aggressive leaders that will put you up against the wall after a crap performance and say, this is not the Chelsea way. We don't have that. David Luiz is a great leader, but it seems like when things go downhill, he will get quiet. Azpilicueta, great warrior for the team, but not the most vocal guy. And people might say, oh, Eden Hazard is the captain for his country. But usually, those are small bits of time where it's not much of a high-pressure situation. And if he was a leader, he would have said something to the players by now. So we're really missing that sort of Drogba, JT, or Lampard personality that will just go into the halftime 2 down against Arsenal. You better believe those guys are screaming off the top of their heads and getting the players riled up to come back in the second half and actually give us a performance. But moving to Sarri now. Sarri, look in the mirror, man. You're not blameless in this either. It's happened now with Tottenham twice. They got you figured out. You have to find a solution. You're getting paid the big bucks to set up your team to succeed against any challenge that comes up. Now, are these players hard to motivate? Find a way to get them motivated. Maybe bench a few of those guys. It's not... These guys right now don't feel any stakes. Alonso has been playing awful for weeks now, and he's still getting every Premier League minute. Willian hasn't... Yes, he scored last week, but he hasn't had a good run of games either, yet he starts every week. I know there are health issues here and there, but a point has to be made where these players need to realize that they're also replaceable. And yes, I know you guys are gonna say it because I think it too. The Jorginho situation, I don't think he needs to be starting every single game either. If he's playing bad, he's playing bad. Pull the guy, let's get somebody else in there. Sometimes you need a break. Sometimes that's all it takes. So, bad result. Words from the manager, what can we expect next? Sarri did mention in his post-game that some changes are going to come, and he did say don't expect a complete overhaul, but he needs to do something. And here's where I'm going to give my opinions. If I were in his shoes, it's time to mix up that starting 11 a little bit. Yes, some of these players on the bench might not be as technically gifted or as deeply in the knowledge of the system, but one thing they will have is hunger. We have Callum Hudson-Odoi, who can easily be put into the right wing, who's a young guy. Bayern is after him, wants playing time. He has something to prove. We have Emerson at left back. Alonso's just not cutting it. Why not put Emerson, see what he could bring into the picture? And in terms of midfield, that's up to Sarri. I definitely don't have the answers there. But we have players. Let's use them a little bit. The other thing that I see happening, and I think this has to be a must, is the return of a natural striker playing in the middle of the front three. Hazard has to be at left wing now. He is our best player. He is our creative outlet. Let's let him operate where we know he can succeed. And whether that's Giroud or maybe one Gonzalo Higuain, let's just get a striker in there. Maybe they don't score 20, 30 goals, but they will distract those two physical center backs and let our wingers be the danger in front of goal. So I think that is necessary for our future. And yes, Maurizio Sarri can go back to his, in the defensive phase, the false nine is stronger. One thing that people seem to not realize is that we actually scored more goals with a natural striker than in this false nine in the window of games we've been using it. So let's just go back to what worked. You need to score goals to win a soccer game, am I right? So yeah, that's what I think needs to be done next. I think Sarri needs to make, just like he said, just a few tweaks, put in a new striker in the mix, and also just let's mix it up a little bit in the starting 11. All right, everyone, that finishes my quick fire reactions to the Arsenal match and my thoughts on what we can expect from Chelsea moving forward. Now, please like and subscribe, and also don't forget to leave a comment below. I really care to know what you guys think about this match, what you guys think about Sarri's comments, and what you think Chelsea needs to do to maybe get over this hump and go back to the club that we know we can be. Remember, we got Spurs on Thursday in the second leg of the Carabao Cup, and hopefully our Blues react with a rebound performance. With that said, that's all I've got for you guys today, and let's keep the blue flag flying high.